Dear friends, today we are going to learn the fundamental concepts of laser, and we are also going to study about NDYAG laser today. Here, laser is the light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. The acronym laser is light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So we have to understand how this amplification is done. That is more important. So, the multiplication of photons in stimulated emission state becomes the concept of laser. The multiplication, the amplification. It is the constructive interference of the photons which makes a coherent, highly intense, highly directional beam of light. This is very, very important. That's why we constantly say that one photon induces an atom to emit a second photon. These two traveling along the same direction de-excite two atoms in their path, producing a total of 4 atoms, and which in turn stimulate 4, generating 8 photons and so on. Thus the multiplication factor is there. Let us try to understand this thing, how it starts. Now let me say that there is an incoming photon, anxiety. This is, let me say, 2 power 0. And what happens? It generates 2 more such de-excitations. So this becomes 2 power 1. So here once again you start getting 2 more in this stage. This is 2 power 4. Then what happens, you just see these two like that. This process you should be in a position to remember. From each excitation, so this becomes 2 power, this is 2 power 2, this is 2 power 3. You see, 2, 4, 6, 8. Like that it continues. At one stage you find that there are number of such pairs that are all coming, and which results in 2 power n. This action we call as laser action. 2 power n. So, in a way, the multiplication of stimulated photons should be understood. This is the prime, simple but elegant concept that we are trying to take. We further know that this type of waves, the photons, the associated waves, are all interfering constructively. When you say constructive interference that is taking place, the photons of the same wavelength and they are in a position to resonate. So we will be trying to understand much better if you take an example of laser, and we will be knowing that also. Coherent derived from the same source. Try to remember. and their frequency, all the photons are having a common frequency. That's also. When you say frequency, immediately energy remains the same. So that is why a powerful beam of light is emerging out of this coherent radiation pattern. So thus, due to stimulated emission, the photons multiply in each step, giving rise to an intense beam of photons that are coherent and moving in the same direction. Hence, the light is amplified by stimulated emission of radiation, justifying the name laser. Okay, sir. In this phenomena of laser action, we will be talking about 3 stages. First, one will be called ground state. Normally, energy level 0, that level we call that as the ground state. These terms will be referring. Here, this is the energy order that we are considering. Energy. So, we will say that when atoms are normally available here in this ground state, that's called a normal population. By suitable excitation, we are going to see what are all the various types in which we excite. When you give energy, these atoms are absorbing that energy, they raise to a level called excited state. Here, the lifetime of the atoms will be very, very less. That is of the order of 10 power minus 9 seconds. So they will try to fall, be excite. But when you take an intermediate state, we call such intermediate state as metastate. So from these excited state, atoms try to give non-radiating level transition and thereby they come to this metastable state. That process of making more number of atoms in the excited state is called population inversion. By absorption, atoms normally found in the ground state are elevated to this state, so they just go there and thereby they just fall to a relatively greater stable state called metastable state. This we call as metastable state from excited state. Here we have this transition taking place without emission of radiation, photons. That's why such transition, rapid transition, because of the instability here, because they are allowed to stay here for a very, very small time. Compared to this, this is of the order of 10 power minus 6 to 10 power minus 3 seconds. In metastable state, the stability is more. Now, here, because they are long linear compared to this level, now when a suitable photon is coming, then this may give rise to what? A photon. This will return back to E0 or to any other intermediate stage again, and from that non-radiating will be there, but if you take this itself, then this can be, if I just consider 3 level, this is E2 level, this is E1 level, this is E0 level. This is called a 3 level process. Supposing if we have any other intermediate stage again, up to this, the laser state, and here once again, non-radiating state, then this becomes E1, this becomes E2, this becomes E3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 state. In ND-YAG laser, we are going to consider such a condition. So here again non-radiation, here again non-radiation, in between laser action. Here also what we can very well understand, this need not be one state, this can also be the excited state, can be two state. Once again from here to this metastable state it can come. So remember, there is a short-lived excited state, a long-lived metastable state, and then a ground state. We are going to see how this amplification is made possible. So, what is metastable state? In order to establish a condition of population inversion, the excited atoms are required for a longer lifetime. That means in the purely excited state, the lifetime is very small, of the order 10 to minus 9 seconds, and we are having here the metastable state, they are quite long lived, 10 to minus 6 to 10 to minus 3. So, there could be no population inversion and hence no laser action if metastable state do not exist. This is what you should be knowing with all conformities. So, what is population inversion? We told about normal population. We are telling about population inversion. The establishment of a situation in which a number of atoms in the higher energy state is greater than that in the lower state. You see, the number of atoms available in the excited greater energy state compared to this state. So, normal population case, if we say this is N1, this is N2, then we say that N1 greater than N2, normal population. If N2 greater than N1, this is called population inversion. This is called what? Population inversion. This is the very essential aspect that you should be bearing in mind in order to appreciate the different types of lasers that we are having. Okay, sir. When you want to say that population inversion should be there, this atom should be pumped to this excited level. So what are all the different pumping methods that we are having? So what is called optical pumping? The process of raising more number of atoms to excited state by artificial means is called a pumping process. So very simple. The process of making more number of atoms in the excited state by artificial means. That means by excitation by an external device. In ND-YAG laser also we are going to use either krypton and xenon source, which gives a pulse and trigger and makes this population inversion possible. So we try to say 4 or 5 different processes in which this is possible. What are they? 1. Optical pumping. Optical pumping. Remember these things. What is number 2? We say direct electron excitation. This direct electron excitation can also be called otherwise as electric discharge. The third way in this optical pumping, that is pumping method, making this ground level atoms to go to the excited state, may be inelastic. You know about elastic and inelastic collision. Inelastic, atom includes ions also, collision. And number 4 will be direct conversion. And number 5 we consider as due to some chemical processes. So, what is that we are trying to understand here? There are 5 types of pumping methodology available. In different types of laser that we are going to consider, we will be saying either solid state laser, ruby laser, NdOAG laser, etc., or gas laser, where carbon dioxide laser, helium neon laser, etc. Otherwise, gallium arsenic, that is GaAs laser, semiconductor laser, we will be talking. We will also be talking about some liquid lasers, where europium benzoate, that is benzol, acetone, dissolved in alcohol, we will be having that liquid laser, and we will be having some dye laser, that is hydrogen fluoride laser and coumarin dye laser, whatever be that particular thing. Different types of laser will be making use of either one of these pumping methodology. So we should try to understand now this then we will try to explain what is clearly optical pumping, what is direct electron excitation, what is inelastic atom-atom collision. All these things will be in a position to know much better. Right. Now what is the next thing that we should try to remember in these basics, that is basic components of laser action. I told you laser represents light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Also I told you it is the name of the device that produces high intense, fully directional, coherent beam of strong intense light, high intensity light. So it is also a device. It is also a mechanism in which we produce laser. For that, what are the things that are required? The basic aspect is active medium. Active medium is the first required thing in any laser device. Then what is the next thing that is required? Number 2 will be pumping system. Here I have listed 5. What type of pumping system that we are having? And the third one is that for multiplication of this laser, we want one system called, the third one, resonant system. So when you devise, basically what you should focus in your mind is that this resonance system can also be called as optical resonator. So active medium should be there, pumping should be there, resonance system, that is optical resonator, that system. Usually remember, optical resonator is a parallel mirror. One is highly polished, having 100% reflection in one direction, and another thing partially, so that the emitted laser beam will be emerging out with a desirable curve aperture. So this is the simple aspect. So what is an active medium? It is the basic component leading to laser action. These atoms, ions are getting to excited level, and these things may be either a solid or a liquid or a dye or a gas or semiconductor, etc. What is a pumping device, pumping system? That pumping system is a device. This device is helping us to do population inversion. In the active medium, population inversion is achieved by this pumping system. The produced coherent photons are made to resonate, and they are trying to move forward and backward, and thereby multiplying this action, that is exactly called as amplification by this resonance system. If you can understand these things, that is active medium, pumping system and optical resonator, then you can very well construct any type of laser. Now let us try to understand what is ND-YAG laser. Please follow this carefully. This is one of the basic thing. ND-YAG. What is this YAG? I am going to tell you. This symbol for that chemical formula is YAL3, yttrium, aluminium, garnet. That's why it is called as, what is this thing called as? Yttrium, aluminium, garnet. What is this ND? ND is nothing but neodymium. So, neodymium, yttrium, aluminium, garnet, that is a crystal. We will take a definite length and diameter, all these things which let us describe. Taking that figure, we will know that these three should be involved in that. Now this process produces a lot of heat while generating this laser beam. Therefore, the entire package we will be having under a coolant system, either by gas coolant or water circulation method. The system can be kept cool. This you try to understand it. So this is the chemical formula for this YAG. Together, this is a crystal. So we take of the order of 6 to centimeter length of this crystal, ND-YAG crystal. This is a crystal. First remember that. And what is the next thing that is required? I will develop one by one. This rod is nothing but ND-YAG crystal rod. I told you the dimension also for this particular thing of the order of 6 centimeter or so. Right. What is the next thing that is required here? The next thing that is required here will be the exciting aspect, the triggering element. Triggering element means this is either a krypton or xenon light that will be working as the pump. So normally we call that as the flash tube. This is the crystal laser rod. This is the flash tube. That means it can produce pulse of light. So these things are enclosed in an elliptical cavity. So a pumping system is there, a active medium is there, try to remember. And what is the third thing that is required? Optical resonator. I told you on these two sides you have got some reflectors. This is 100% reflecting medium. This is partially transparent. So that you can have the emission in the controlled way in this direction. These are two optically placed mirrors. If you understand the concept, drawing the figure itself will become much easier. Now what is the purpose? The flash tube, we want, this is a cavity which holds these things. This I call it as elliptical cavity, in which this standard setup is available. Now what happens exactly? How to trigger these pulses and all? By a simple mechanism you can have. The wire connections are done like that. So you can have a triggering mechanism here by means of a capacitor. We are going to have this. This is just a trigger pulse mechanism. That means they are connected to a capacitor system here. This is going to control. This should be connected to a power source, that is a battery source, high voltage source. And this can just be connected by means of a switching arrangement like that. Key plus minus. Usually standard load resistance will be connected. These are all basic primary electric power circuit. That's all. When you take this particular thing, the power supply is there. This we call as power supply. This is the normal resistor, load resistor. This is the capacitor that you are having. This is the triggering, pulse triggering. This is the switch, that mechanism that is going on. So when you suitably give power, this will just give some light. That will introduce population inversion in this. So this is actually the pumping system. Here the laser action material is going to be there. These two things are going to provide us the optical plane mirrors will be providing this thing. I hope the figure is clear for you. This we generally call as ND-OAG laser. Right. This is part of our aspect. Now let us try to understand in detail how the population inversion as well as the other transitions are exactly taking place with respect to this ND-OAG laser. The dimensions also I have mentioned. The dimension, what we have told you here, will be of the order of 6 centimeters. The length of that flash rod, that is not the flash rod, but that laser rod I have told you. And the diameter is of the order of 6 to 9 millimeter. So it's a small rod that is fixed there. These things are all coaxial. That is with the resonator mirrors. 100% reflective mirror as well as partial reflective mirror we have told you. Now let us try to understand the various levels that are there. This is a very important thing. What is that? To try to remember the working of the laser transition of laser light by the excitation of neodymium ions, neodymium 3 plus ions, will be like this. We take first the common E0 ground state, normal population. So what is available here? Neodymium is available. Neodymium ions. These things are excited. Nd 3 plus ions. What is in the y-axis that we are having? I told you energy. Go step by step. You will be knowing that this energy level is there. So what happens? Let us try to remember. The first process is population inversion. So from here, by absorbing suitable thing, this will be raising to either this level. Let me call this level as E4 level, or by absorbing suitable thing, so the atoms may go to E3 level. These two levels are possible here. There are some chromium ions that are available. When the krypton flash lamp is on, the optical pumping starts. So these atoms, ions, are excited to this level. Now by observing what wavelength they go there, you say it is of the drop 0.73 micrometer. This transition takes place for 0.80 micrometer. You can just see. This is a lesser wavelength. This is a greater wavelength. Lesser wavelength, greater frequency, higher energy. Greater wavelength, lesser frequency, lesser energy. But whatever be that, these are all the two excited states. This as well as this. There is no transition, don't get confused. This is also an excited state. Right. From here, what happens? I told you during our discussion, either from here or from here, they fall to a level called metastable state. This process takes place by non-radiation transition. Non-radiation transition. Silent, I call that usually a silent transition. From this excited level to this metastable state, they go like that. Now what happens? We have the state as E2 level. Once again, from here, they come back to another state. This level I call it as E1. From E1 to ground state, once again transitions are taking place as non-radiation type. They come back to ground state. So, this level E2, E1, this is the critically the laser action level. So try to remember this section. What happens exactly here when one atom, one ion comes to this level, one will be available. Then I told you two will be available. And then I told you 4 will be available. Then I told you 8 will be available. Like that it goes. An avalanche effect is taking place. I told you 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4, 2 power 5, etc., 2 power n. So between these two components we have the resonators. They move back and forth, and thus this action takes place. So we find that here of the order of lambda equal to 1.06 micrometer beam is coming out. Between this E2 and E1 we have got a wavelength that is coming out like that. That E2 minus E1 being our h nu, that is the standard quantum of the photon's energy. That is what we are trying to have. This simple diagram helps us in understanding all the transitions that are taking place. So this is very important. You know that the excited neodymium atoms make a transition to the metastable energy level E2 from energy level E4 and E3 by non-radiation transition. Non-radiative. Non-radiative means what? There is no visible light or anything like that coming out at that stage. So that is there. That transited neodymium ions are collected in the metastable state. By the help of metastable state E2, I told you it is essential for laser action you should have a metastable state. Here that is E2. Population inversion takes place between E2 and E1, that is laser action. The photons that generated are allowed to travel back and forth between the two mirrors and grow in strength. That is exactly the amplification process. At some time, the photons multiplies more rapidly. After enough strength is achieved, the intense laser light of wavelength, I told you 1.06 with respect to this NdVAg, we have this much. The power output, it's a greater order, nearly 2 into 10 power 4 watts output power of this laser is of the order of 10 power 4, 10 kilowatt. That is what we are trying to achieve. That's why we say that the advantages of this being, it has high output energy, it has very high repetition rate operation, it is much easier to achieve population inversion, and YAG is a crystalline material and the corresponding line width is much smaller, which implies much lower threshold. That means easily you can excite with a normal neon, xenon light, etc., the flash tube. One important disadvantage of this particular laser is that the electron energy level structure of neodymium 3 plus in YAG is very much complicated. That's the theoretical aspect. But what are all the possible applications for this laser? It is used for long distance communication system. They also find an application in micro machining operations as well as welding, drilling, etc. You see, in medical field, this is maximum used. Endoscopy, dental surgery, and in general surgery, this particular NdVAg laser is very much useful. So, this particular ND-YAG laser sequence, which is a solid state laser like ruby laser. The next we will be studying about it also in detail. We know that this is a very standard question from university point of view also. That's why we have taken the concept, we have told you the principle, the active medium in ND-YAG rod. It is optically pumped by krypton flash tubes and neodymium ions are raised to excited levels. During the transition from metastable state to ground state, the laser beam of wavelength 1.06 micrometer is being produced, which has got a power output of 10 power 4 watts. I hope this particular ND-YAG laser is very much clear to you all. Let us try to learn much in our next series. This is actually the fourth part of our 9-part component in laser. I am trying to deliberately go slow as well as elaborate in explaining all the parameters that are involved, so that step by step conceptually you can understand. Thank you.